Everybody, welcome to Stack Your Points. Thanks for watching and listening. And this is the Friday Q&A segment. So your questions, we answer them, sometimes up to an hour, sometimes it creates its own episode in and of itself. So if you have questions, always feel free to drop them on the YouTube channel or email us at stackyourpoints@gmail.com. But we hope you enjoy this week's Q&A session. Thanks for watching and listening. Welcome to another episode of Stack Your Points. As always, I'm Matt Clausen, joined by RJ from GigSky Cards. RJ, how are you today?
You know what? I have had a very rough start to 2025, but I'm here podcasting with you all, and I'm very excited to do that. So tonight, I am doing all right.
Completely fair, all things considered, so we'll take that. We're also joined by Tariq from Reek's Rewards. Tariq, how are you today?
Good. A little tired, but wouldn't change this for the world. Love being here with y'all. So ready to rock and roll.
And last but certainly not least, we're joined by Lonnie from the Call Me Lonnie channel. How are you today, Lonnie?
I'm good. I'm also tired. Today has been a day. And so I might not be coming at Tariq tonight. And so I'm sorry to disappoint anyone that comes to the show waiting for me to give Tariq a zinger.
This might actually be one of my favorite podcasting days now.
So for all in the know, today will be a day ending in Z on the podcast. So we're going to move over to our question segment. Our viewer question. We do have a couple viewer questions. At the top, I did want to do a brief shout out to an email that we got at the beginning of the year. This coming from Jared Troy. Jared, we have gotten your email. We just have to research it a little bit more, but we are getting thoughts to you as soon as we can. Just some things have popped up at the beginning of the year. We haven't forgotten about you. We promise we will get you an answer as soon as we can. So, Jared, just sit tight. We will get to you as soon as possible. So let's move over to our first question. Our first question comes from friend of the show, Keith, who asks, "What happened to the Robinhood card? I never hear about it anymore. Did the Smartly card overtake it?" And I'll throw the first question over to Tariq. Tariq, has anything happened to the Robinhood card?
I mean, is there a reason for us to realistically talk about the Robinhood card? I mean, it just seemed like it was just another hype card for like Robinhood Gold. So, I think it was like what? I think it was what? Get it up. I think it was like a 3% cashback catch-all card if I'm not mistaken. But you had to have Robinhood Gold to pay for it. So you're just like paying a month. Was it a monthly fee for 3% cashback catch-all? Like if you had Robinhood Gold already to begin with, sure, that was great. But for a lot of people, they didn't have Robinhood Gold. And also, Robinhood wasn't really in a lot of good graces after the whole GameStop thing a couple years ago. So like, did you really want to try to get a credit card with them after that crap that they pulled? So it just seemed like it was kind of like a hype train to just garner the attention and maybe get some more positive publicity for Robinhood after the mess that they pulled after, I think it was GameStop and AMC. So no, it just didn't seem like it was anything like kind of worth it. It was just almost like the facade was gone, and like once we realized, oh yeah, it's Robinhood. Oh yeah, we're paying a monthly fee just to have the card with 3%. Because I don't even remember what it was if you didn't have Robinhood Gold, or if maybe they'll even charge you a monthly fee. Because then you're going to look at a Credit One card that charges you a monthly fee to have the card, which, yeah, you don't want to be associated with Credit One when you're looking at a credit card. And then, no, with Smartly, it just seemed like Smartly had more of a, I guess, more of a say, or I guess more like attention gathering, because it actually made more sense somewhat, because it was trying to compete with Bank of America with the preferred rewards tier. But even then, it didn't even seem that great to begin with. Like it was kind of good in theory, but once we kind of got more into the details, jumping through a lot of hoops with US Bank. So Robinhood is just ironic because, you know, of the name of the actual story of Robinhood. Robinhood's not doing that. They're still working for the rich, and smartly, I guess, not is in a different tier. So I guess it didn't have anything associated with the Robinhood Gold Card, if we're being honest.
That's fair. RJ.
So I think part of the problem with Robinhood offering cards is people don't like Robinhood or they really like Robinhood. There is no middle ground. There's nobody who knows anything about like investing or who invests who has no opinion on Robinhood under the age of probably 50, right? Like if you are investing, you know who they are, you have an opinion on them, you have seen all of the posts about what is not included in their 3% or things that should be included by their terms that somehow aren't when you try it, right? So I think part of the reason is people loved this card, people use this card for a lot of things, and then a bunch of stories came out about how it doesn't actually give you 3% like they said there were. So I think that's part of the problem. Um, the Smartly card, I think, is having the same thing happen. It's just not as niche because it's through US Bank, which is, I think, a little bit different than something like a Robinhood. It's not like an app that people primarily use for stocks and trading and crypto and things like that. And I think because you're attaching things like 401k and different other financial services to get that 4%, people see it as more legitimate by its nature. Regardless of, you know, if you've had success doing that, as some friends of ours, friends of the show, have not had the greatest success with it. But I think that it is seen differently. It is seen very differently. So I think we're not talking about the Robinhood card because there's not a whole lot to talk about. It's a niche card on a niche platform that most people don't want to pay for Robinhood Gold. And if you are paying for Robinhood Gold, maybe you want the card, maybe you don't. So I don't think it's that interesting other than the fact that it exists. And I think enough videos were made of the fact it exists for to go forward without us talking about it a whole lot.
Definitely. Lonnie.
Yeah, so I think the Robinhood Gold Card falls perfectly into good marketing can sell anything. To go back into, you know, the early 2000s where, you know, from a business standpoint or a marketing standpoint, one of my favorite lines I've ever heard was people will do a lot for a free t-shirt. Um, and that's kind of how I remember or think of the Robinhood card, where it came out gangbusters. Like the definition of a social media influencer, this is exactly what we saw. Like, as RJ mentioned, there was a lot of videos out there about it. And I guarantee you, those were all priming the pump by people getting paid to put Robinhood out there in that light. And next thing you know, it gets the snowball rolling and everyone's kind of talking about it. But when you really peek behind the curtain, it was a card. It had potential, but then the truth came out. I'm not going to say it was 3-point font, but at least the truth about the card itself came out. And they did, like I said, they did a lot of good things. The solid gold card, I mean, even I talked about that. I'm like, yo, that's pretty dope. I give them credit for that. Like, if I could walk around with a solid gold card, cool. I would happily take that. But then what do I got to do to get that solid gold card? And then I got to pay. You're calling it a $0 annual fee card, and yet I have to pay a subscription to get it. So that's like that's like saying effective annual fee. This is an effective annual fee. just in the reverse direction. Really.
How much did it hurt for you to say that?
No, I just know somebody's writing in the comments right now. You know how Tariq triggered like a whole CPP cent per point conversation last week? I just triggered a whole effective annual fee conversation in
Oh
the Discord
man.
this week. I just see it. I already see it coming, and that's why I'm laughing. But
We sure know how to stir the pot.
trigger warning. Anyway, um, but yeah, so I think the Robinhood card had potential, but it was just too many chips stacked against them when the truth came out about the card, the hoops you had to jump through to get the card. Tariq had mentioned AMC and GameStop. Don't forget Dogecoin, where they stopped people from selling their Dogecoin that Saturday night when it was dropping like crazy. Yeah, and with all of that, there's just not a lot of do I want to put my trust in them as a credit provider as well? And it turns into no. They just lost that battle. Let's call it what it is. Now, Smartly, I think the jury's still out on Smartly. I think it's too early to put a stamp on them or not, to be like, this is good, this is bad, or this is going to be popular, this is not going to be popular, or whatever, because it's too niche. It's for a certain group of people, for a certain specific kind of person, I would say. And if you don't fall into that, doesn't mean that it's bad. It just means it's more people that it's not for than there are people that it is for. And so I'm going to bow out on the Smartly side of it. And that's only because it's too early to tell.
No, that certainly makes sense. So I'll say on the Robinhood side of things, I think part of it, a lot of it was the marketing up front. I think the next biggest thing was you had to sign up for the wait list in April, and there were people I was noticing on Reddit as late as October, November, who said, "Hey, I've been on the wait list since it was announced. I still haven't gotten my card. Like, does anyone know what's going on with getting your card from waitlist?" And those people who had been 6 months, maybe they got quietly rejected, maybe they didn't follow up on things, but just the idea that the waitlist wasn't completely cleared out 6 months after the waitlist was launched, and it's not like there was millions upon millions of people signing up for this card. It was what, a few hundred, it's definitely a few 100,000. But the fact that they couldn't, the potential fact, and allegedly that they weren't able to get this finished out in 6 months, that's not a good look. Then there are things that came out, things I've noticed on Reddit where folks have mentioned, oh, a tax payment doesn't get you the 3%. There are certain purchase categories that people thought that they could do to break the system, because that's the way some people think, that they thought they could do it, and they weren't able to break the system the way they thought they could, or find a exploit, find a loophole, do whatever it is they do that has gotten, maybe their US Bank Altitude Reserve canceled in the past, or they've gotten Amex to come back to them and say, hey, you can't have a credit card with us anymore. Finding out that Robinhood is taking the same sort of approach, because Robinhood doesn't have the ability to cover those margin losses the way that an Amex or US Bank could, but chose not to. So that could be something there. The point redemptions, you can redeem into your Robinhood account for 1 cent per point. Then, you have to take the next step of redeeming that out to your bank if you don't want to bother investing that money, which is fine. But then everything else is less than a penny per point. You can exchange 5,000 points to get lounge passes. Who's going to do that? They have a mystery box option. I'm just on the website here, so sorry that I'm throwing these things out there. The statement credit was like 7/10 of a penny. So yes, earning 3 points on everything sounds great, But then when it came time to like do redemptions, unless you're redeeming into your brokerage account, which is what they want, you weren't getting a full penny per point. So if you're not getting a penny per point, you're not actually getting 3%. Then there's everything else associated with it where you have to sign up for Robinhood Gold. That's $50 a year or however much a month. Then you have to, get on the wait list and make sure that you actually get the card, and then all these other things. And it's a card that doesn't feel like it's worth the squeeze. And as someone who previously had the X1 card, I was not about to trust these same people again with the whole process of making sure that all my rewards work properly. Now, X1, I put everything into a DoorDash gift card. I was cool. That was cool. I'm waiting for them to close the card at this point. But, I wasn't about to come back to the same people and say, hey, that first round works so great. Let's do it again for 3x everything. So I think just because, like, if it's working for folks as intended behind Robinhood Gold, great. If there are folks who are making out like bandits, putting their redemption into an investment account and investing in VTI and beating the market that way, great. They're taking their 3% return on spend and turning it into, potentially another 7% return on the market. And I'm not willing to do that math because decimal math is silly, but they're doing better than average. That is going to be the exception, not the rule of the Robinhood card holder. So we'll see what happens. As for Smartly, US Bank, my conversation with a friend of the pod, Spathco, a couple months ago, led me to believe that I don't know that US Bank actually knows what they're doing half the time. They have too many reward structures. None of their reward structures talk to them to each other. I'm going to get into that a little bit later on. I think Smartly is a lot of hype. And at the end of the day, yes, you're going to get 4% back, but the chores that you're doing to get the 4%, and then what are you doing with that 4%? They don't have transfer partners. They don't have an easy way to redeem that money. They don't have an easy way to inflate the redemption for even more value for yourself going forward. At least with Bank of America, when they have that 5.25% category card, you get that 5.25% category, you can put it in your bank account, redeem it for statement credit. You can put it in the travel center. You are set because it all talks to one another. The US Bank reward system is a joke. So we'll see what happens with Smartly. I think everyone's eyes lit up when they saw 4%, and everything else that US Bank has done to kind of ensure that 4% is viable for at least the next 9 to 12 months is nice, but it's a house of cards that's going to fall very quickly.
You also have to have like a decent amount of money to just park with US Bank. It's not a 4% that anybody can access. You have to
Yes.
have what,
$100,000 with
150,000?
them.
Yeah. So if you don't have $100,000 in a 401k or that you can park with them, you're not getting 4% no matter what hoops you jump through. So that is a thing to keep in mind as well when we're talking about Smartly. Sorry, that's a tangent that drives me crazy. The step ladder of rewards based on how much you have with an institution drives me nuts.
Yeah,
Not
so
only
Smartly,
that,
yep.
I
Go
was
ahead,
not
Trick.
only that, I think with their like IRA or their brokerage accounts, there's like a fee that you have to pay in order to have to hold the account. So you're going to pay like a certain amount, like a certain fee for this Roth IRA, I've talked about this before about the Smartly because I know I've talked about it previously, but like you're going to pay trying to move all your money to this certain brokerage so you can have the chance to get 4% on a card. Let's just say you're in your mid 20s, early 30s for a card that you're likely not going to be able to, you'll have to sit on that, earn 100K, unless you're a high earner. probably not for another like 10, maybe 15 years. So you're going to wait for that in hopes that Smartly is still profitable just to try to get 4% eventually. You're better off just not trying to toy with your brokerage or your retirement account, like for Smartly.
Yep. Just real quick, Smartly is 2% catch all. You can go up to 2.5% if you have between $5,000 and $49,999 in various U.S. bank accounts. Now that can be your IRA, that can be retirement, that can be their brokerage service. They do allow ACATS transfers from other brokerages. There are certain fees associated with it. There are ways to get around those fees by having more money in other accounts. It becomes it's a spider web that promises 4% at the end, but to get to 4%, you have to cross a pit of lava, basically. And for a lot of folks, that's not going to be worth it. For those that it is worth it, I hope you enjoy your 6 months of getting 4% back on everything, because everything else that they're doing it tells me that is not going to last more than a year and a half.
That's why I said it's too niche. It's too specific for a specific person to actually comment on.
Yeah. I'm going to be talking about US Bank later. So, thank you, Keith, for your question. Let's move over to our next question. It comes from M2K, who asks, with the ink train closed, or at least limited, that we're starting to notice based on data points toward the end of 2024 and beginning of 2025, what is the best way to earn UR points now? There is no better subject matter expert on this than Lonnie. Lonnie, let's have you kick off with this one.
Have you tried just using your cards the way you're supposed to? So
Novel.
I'm gonna and I'm not being facetious at all. I'm just being completely dead ass honest. Like, we don't need to continue applying for new cards. And if that's something that you want to do, then go for it. I'm not here to tell you what you should do with your credit score, your life, your finances, or anything, but I am allowed to have my opinion. And I have lived it. And it's the reason why I got into point stacking, even built this whole world of mine around point stacking, is because I didn't want to have to get a whole new card every time I wanted more points. Like, there's this itch, it's like a drug to some people where it's like, ooh, sign up bonus. Yep, Tariq got it. It's sign up bonus. And then you get it. And then you just get like in this sadness until you get another one. And it's like, man, I'm at 524. I can't get another one. What do I got to do? I'm in pop-up jail. What do I got to do to get another one? And they just skip over the fact of, you're like 8 cards deep. Have you tried using one of them? Just when you swipe it, you'll get some points. And then if you point stack, like, when I saw this question, yes, I got a little twinkle in my eye, because the first thing I did was start looking at shopping portal. So like, even if I had like an ink cash, the basic offer is 75,000 chase points after $6,000. Well, that's roughly 12 and a half points per dollar on that sign up bonus. And I'm like, oh, if I go to Chase shopping portal, all I really need is find something that's like 10 or 8, and I'll get really close to that 12. Or if it's an ink unlimited, let's just say you have an unlimited with 1.5, you only need to be able to get 8 extra points. And a lot of that's in the Chase shopping portal. Just using the shopping portal, I guarantee you'll find a retailer that you spend money at regularly in the shopping portal. Full stop, plain flat, period. Just there. On top of that, you can start combining though. The Lyft thing is still on through March of this year. We don't know if it'll be extended yet. And I'm talking about Lyft with Chase. Every single Chase first party card, so if it's a Freedom card, a Sapphire card, an Ink card, gets an inflated bonus if you use Lyft. But if you use Lyft, go into your settings and linked accounts, you'll see Delta, 3 points per dollar added on. Hilton, 3 points per dollar added on. Built, 2 points per dollar added on. Where whatever you're going to earn in Lyft using that Chase card, you'll get an extra 2 or 3 points per dollar for whatever, secondary currency that you would like as well. And so, in my opinion, yes, I think we as a community created the scenario in which ink cards are going to be approved less. And now we're all mad at it. And you know what my next line out of my mouth is? These banks owe us nothing. They are not our friends, and they can take away anything at any given time. They owe us jack diddly. And right now, they've probably found out, hey, people are taking advantage of this. We're going to nerf it. So if you were on the side of this was my only strategy, I only had the straight and narrow path, and that's getting nerfed, you need to find another path. Not saying this is where your question stemmed from, but if you're not diversifying your options, this is what could happen. But the thing is, they give us these cards so that we can use them. The bank never wanted us to have 15 credit cards. Not a single bank. All the banks together. I guarantee you, the CEO of Capital One, American Express, and Chase, and Wells Fargo all play golf on the weekends. They know each other. They hang out. They send their wives and kids to birthday and Christmas presents and for graduations as well. I 100% guarantee it. I'm not making this stuff up. They know each other. And they're like, yo, we got a problem. People are over here taking advantage of us. And it's like, cool. We're going to nerf it. Here's what we're going to do. And it works against us. So try to just use the card as is. And if you can get a little bit extra, go ahead and get a little bit extra. And if right now it's not that time, if you still got that itch, take a break, go into detox mode for a year or two. I hate to say a year or two. A year or two is a long time, but still try going into detox mode and then come back and then see how the game has changed. I guarantee you it's going to be a completely different credit card game 12 months, 24 months from now.
Absolutely. Thank you, Lonnie. And just to remind myself, the Chase shopping portal, the Ultimate Rewards shopping portal, that whatever you see there, like say Michael Kors earned 1 point per dollar, that is on top of whatever your base earnings are on your card, correct?
That is correct. So if you're already earning 1 point per dollar and you see a store that offers 3 points per dollar, you're going to get 4. You're going to get 3 for shopping at the store, plus the 1 just for using the card itself. Now, I talk about Mileage Plus X, the United app. I know it's not Chase. It earns you United miles, but Chase is the only issuer that follows the category in which you're buying the gift cards within the app. So if you get 3x per dollar at dining and you buy IHOP gift card, your Chase will give you 3x for buying the IHOP gift card plus whatever you're going to get in miles from buying the IHOP gift card. Amex doesn't work. Only Chase works. Built doesn't work. I've tried them all. I've learned the hard way. The Chase aspect works, which is why I love using my Chase cards in the MPX app, because I can just, instead of going to Starbucks, which I don't really do, I don't really like Starbucks, but man, if I'm dry and I'm like traveling and that's all that's available, I will go to a Starbucks. I hate it, but I will. But the thing is while y'all are over there fighting for stars, I'll just use like my Sapphire Reserve card and buy my Starbucks gift card while standing in line, and then just use that at Starbucks and basically get a super double dip.
Yeah, makes sense. Just for the record, Apple fanatics, there's at least 2 on this podcast. The Apple store is available through Chase shopping portal. Sorry, there's at least 3 Apple fanatics. The Apple store is available. Earn an extra point per dollar. So your Chase Sapphire Reserve, your Chase Sapphire Preferred, your Chase Freedom Flex, 2 points per dollar at Apple.
Oh, I'm not an Apple fanatic. I thought you meant by Apple, you're saying iPhone, because I definitely am not an iPhone fanatic. Got a lot of Apple stuff.
No, I'm looking at my MacBook Pro that I'm recording on. There's my Apple Watch. There's my Apple AirPods that I'm recording on. I was mainly highlighting RJ, but
It's
you've
primarily
also got
RJ.
some Apple tech.
Yeah, I only have computers. I don't really touch anything else that Apple makes, but they make a fine computer, y'all.
2.5 points per dollar on the Chase Freedom Rise, 2.5 points per dollar on the Chase Ink Unlimited. Doesn't come close to the four times membership reward points to move RJ to the Chase shopping portal, but just highlighting 2 points per dollar.
Or use your Ink Cash at Office Depot to buy your Mac and get 5 points per dollar.
That too. So there's definitely ways to gain more points. RJ, any thoughts here?
I don't know. You use your cards like you're supposed to. Like, I think ultimately that's the answer, right? Like, that is if the ink train is shut down, if it's nerfed, if it's even slowed down, right? Just use your cards. My topic later, we'll be talking about this. Like, you have categories on your cards for a reason. You have ways of using those categories to get more than 1 point per dollar. Do that. Now, look, you also, and I co-sign everything Lonnie said, so I'm not going to just reiterate everything he said. Very smart man. But also you need to change your expectations, right? Like if all you're doing, or if you're trying to do in the points game is just have 1 million Chase points, right? Like that is probably not going to be a consistently high number for you going forward if the ink train gets shut down. You're gonna have to adjust how many points you can earn and maybe what you're redeeming them on, right? So that's an adjustment you got to make. Like maybe you pay cash for a hotel stay every once in a while. I know that's terrifying for some people, but maybe you do. Maybe change instead of going on like, oh, I go to hotels twice a month just because I can, because I have all these points to burn. Maybe it's once a month. Like you can adjust your habits a little bit if you want to. If you are okay paying cash for stuff, you're going to get points off of that anyway, right? So I think that it really depends on why you're trying to accumulate points. If every year you go to Japan and you want to have enough miles throughout the year that trip is free, then you might need to do a lot more point stacking. You might need to maybe go into a different credit card ecosystem that allows you to fly that route, say, more easily, or different options. But just we know a lot of people who like UR points, and a lot of people don't actually use the UR points that they have because they just like having the high balance so they can have the high balance. They don't necessarily use the high balance that they have. And I think that's also part of the reason that Chase is like, hey, we got all of these people with like 1 million points and nobody's using anything. And this is not the ideal situation. And also, there's about 14 billion videos on the Ink Train on YouTube, which is a platform that we are aware of and monitor. So, one of the things in the credit card community, if there's a great thing that everybody's making a video on, it's probably already has the coroner on the way with the big liver probe. So, watch out for that one.
Yep. Absolutely. Tariq, any further thoughts here? I know I threw you in there last.
Assuming you have a Chase Ink Cash and a Freedom Flex and a Freedom Unlimited and a Sapphire Preferred to transfer all your points to, you can earn 5x points on your Ink Cash at office supply stores, cable, internet, and phone services every year up to $25,000. Freedom Flex gives you 5x on rotating quarterly categories, which this quarter includes grocery stores, fitness clubs, gym memberships, nails, hair, and spa services, and Norwegian cruise lines. And then the 3 personal, both the Freedom cards and your Sapphire choice gives you 3x dining. So you I can't say it as much as I can say, like what RJ and Lonnie just says, use your cards. Not everything is going to be a sub.
Just to add on that, Just to add on that, Tariq, don't forget, if you actually pay for your travel in the Chase travel portal,
Oh yeah, you get 5x on that.
you'll
Yeah,
get at minimum 5x, depending on which
not
card
even
you
in
have.
yeah. So
The Freedom cards get 5x.
yes, you think you get like what 10 on the Sapphire Reserve?
On hotels and rentals.
Use your cards. And this is coming from a guy who was all butthurt because I couldn't earn more United miles, like literally like last month. I have like just you have the cards, use them. Like 5x on grocery stores. How many people are going to, name your grocery store choice? I'm a Texan, so I'm gonna say HEB. Like my HEB, I buy my lotion, my body wash. They have all kinds of stuff. I bought my air filters from my apartment. It's more than just groceries at the grocery store, but guess what? It all codes as grocery. So yeah, that's a good way to earn 5x points. My gym membership for the first 3 months, I'm gonna put it on my Freedom Flex. I actually just started a new program, so I had to pay the sign-up fee for that, also included in the 5x. So even though rotating categories are not a favorable topic in the podcast, at least amongst the co-hosts, you can still get that opportunity to you're going to get groceries and you're going to get gas. It's almost a certain. And then every now and again, they're going to throw in Amazon on every razzle dazzle. And
PayPal.
for me, yes, PayPal. And by the way, thank you, Lonnie, for reminding me. PayPal, if you happen to just buy something at CVS and use PayPal to checkout, it stacks because you get 5x on PayPal plus the additional 2x that you get for the bonus categories. So as much as we like to criticize Chase for not having like a primary grocery category and a primary gas category on the personal cards, you'd still get 2x on the ink cash. There are still plenty of good ways to earn ultimate reward points through just spend. So as RJ and as Lonnie and probably as Matt will just say, spend on your cards and stop having to worry about the ink train, because the ink train may be over. It may be derailed. I'm pretty sure I had a topic about it before. It's okay. We got the cards. You got 10, 15, 20, 30 cards. It might be nice to use, 5 of them from time to time. And, you'll earn points naturally on the things that you spend, which, let's be honest, is what we all use to justify getting into this game anyway. Because we're all like, well, I'm going to spend this money anyway. I may as well earn points for it, or I may as well earn cash back for it. So, we lost sight of that. Maybe it's time to get back to that frame of mind and just start, putting the spin and just earning naturally.
Wait,
And
the grocery chain isn't called Hebs?
No, it's just HEB, because it's actually what is his name? Great. Now I have to bring it up because it's actually the Butt family. The last name is Butt. Yes.
I thought it was the Brown family from Brown Construction.
No, it's like Howard Edward Butt, I want to say, was the name of the chain.
I'm sure it's not Butte. Is there an E on the end of that one?
Nope, it's BUTT. The founder is Florence Butt. And yes, HEB, Howard Edward Butt. That is the name of our store. I shop at the Butt store. And you know what?
We have our title for the week.
Use your points this quarter on the Butt store.
I already said I'm not going to come at Tariq, but man, I have a follow-up one-liner that will probably mean if we had the ability to monetize this, we wouldn't be able to monetize this.
We still need to be in good graces with the algorithm, so keep it to yourself.
But Tariq, if you're done, that is, because you had mentioned one thing that I want to follow up on, and that's not just spend and use your cards, but we're going to get to this in a minute when we talk about pop-up jail, switching from Chase to Amex real quick, where Amex is putting people in pop-up jail. Go search the interwebs. because they're not using their cards. Like, yo, you don't spend enough on our cards. We're not going to give you another welcome bonus. We'll give you which is the worst insult ever. We'll give you the card. We're just not going to give you a welcome bonus. We'll charge you the annual fee. You're not going to get a sub, but we'll send you the card. Like, and it's because like you could be doing everything right. Your credit score could be great. I don't have any balances. You're not in it doing anything malicious. It's just you're not using their cards, so they're not finding it profitable. Once again, they probably are sitting at a table once a month on the first Sunday, having brunch with all the other people all the other CEOs and VPs that run these companies, these credit card companies, and they're like, yo, how else can we make sure that we're not losing out on our P&L? So that's the only thing I'm going to add, and I'm going to pass it back over to Matt.
Yep. If you're worried about ultimate reward points and being able to gain ultimate reward points, there are any number of ways to do it. We've gone over virtually all of them. I will say, if you want to improve your sitting situation at home, the Herman Miller store is an extra 1 point per dollar in the Chase shopping portal. Yeah, that's not a reference to anything.
Hey, if you're one of my members, I used it, and that's all I'm going to say.
Because those chairs have a comma. Yeah, no, I think there's a number of ways. The Ink Train was just I'm not going to say get out of jail free card for it, but it was a very quick hack. It may still be available in time, but at the moment, Chase is starting to tighten some bolts. There are other ways to generate UR points. The Chase shopping portal, use it. It is super helpful. And it all stacks. And there are retailers that you're almost always going to end up getting like 1% on if you're not using the portal for the extra boost. I've noticed warehouse stores like Sam's Club. I've noticed Herman Miller, Apple, Backcountry, Factor. You can get 3,700 Chase points if that is something that you need to do. Like everything that is in other shopping portals, a lot of that will also be in the Chase portal. Chase Euro points are a bit more sustainable than your Advantage miles or your Delta miles or your United miles. Although, you can also generate United miles more quickly than you can burn them if you're Lonnie. And, that's another option for you. But check out the Chase shopping portal. If nothing else, get an extra point per dollar. And that starts to add up.
Two
What more
final
can I say?
thoughts.
Yep.
One, if you're going to use something like Factor, HelloFresh with their portal, they do code as grocery, and they also code as online grocery. So you can actually use that 3x Sapphire preferred category that no one seems to use. And also, the Ink Train to me was like a supplement, but it's the type of supplement that you see the guys in the gym locker rooms use with the needles, because you get addicted to that said supplement. I'm going to leave it at that.
That's fair. The dopamine hit of $24,000 in spend equaling just under 500,000 UR points on just the Ink Unlimited alone. Yeah, I can see it being enticing, but just use your cards, man. You'll be fine. Anyway, that's going to do it for that question. Thank you, M2K. We're going to move over to, well, Lonnie called it. This question comes from Double Animal Fries, who asks, no one likes 524 or pop-up jail. Understatement of the century. But we work around them. If you could choose, would you flip it and move 524 to Amex and pop-up jail to Chase? RJ, your thoughts here.
Amex has 5 forever. Like Amex has, you can have 4, 5, or 6 personal credit cards. Actually, I think it includes business as well. So
Sure does.
Amex has that already. We just don't talk about it because it does not extend to their charge cards. So the platinum, the gold, the green on both the personal and the business side. So nobody talks about it because it affects very few people who actually want 6 credit cards from Amex. So I think that's why we don't talk about it as much. But I guess switch because they already have it. So we get rid of pop-up jail and Amex, and that would be great. So yay. But then you're just going to get declined for the card. So you don't get the benefits of the card and you don't get the sub. So yeah, it's weird because Amex has it, but because they have charge cards and their most popular cards are charge cards, we don't talk about it. Um, for for Chase, Chase kind of has pop-up jail too. They've introduced it a little bit, which I'm actually surprised pop-up jail is not more widely used, because it's sort of a perfect lever for them to get you to use their cards without actually having to give you anything back. So yeah, guess what? We're gonna live in a world where both have both. Isn't this wonderful?
Way to take the fun out the question, RJ. Dang.
Look, sometimes I gotta be a realist.
Yep. Lonnie.
I'm going to follow up on RJ and be like, it's a lose-lose situation either way, but it doesn't necessarily mean that one loss is better than the other loss. They both kind of suck, to be completely honest. But at least I'll say it like this. I wouldn't switch them. My first answer is no, I wouldn't switch them. One is because Chase actually cares. I'm not going to say they care more than Amex, but they actually do care about your history with Chase. Like how long you've been with them, what type of accounts do you have with them? Do you have check-in business accounts, savings accounts, all that type of stuff? They take all that stuff into consideration, where 524 is a one-off. And I can speak towards that because I've gotten 2 cards above 524. They just didn't care. I didn't have to call anyone. I didn't have to jump through any hoops or nothing. It was just, hey, Mr. Lonnie, sure, you're a good guy. We trust you. Thanks for being a loyal member to us. Here's another one. Pop-up jail is a little bit different. Amex is like, hey, you've been with us for a very long time. Like I've mentioned, the very first credit card I ever got was an Amex card. And I still have it. They, for some dumbass reason, they won't cancel it. I haven't put a penny on this thing in over a decade. They just won't cancel it. And I don't think they ever will. But the same thing is I've recently hit Amex pop-up jail for the first time with them. And they're like, we'll still give you the card. We're just not going to give you the welcome bonus. But we still value you enough to still give you a card. So it's almost like the exact same thing, except for the no welcome bonus aspect. Now, I know Matt's going to say something, but yes, I was able to get out of pop-up jail. You have to be one of my channel members to figure it out. I made a video on it. I won't talk about it in the public space because I don't want to get it nerfed in case I need to use it again. But for the few people that are members to my channel, give it a shot. It might work for you too. But I think pop-up jail is a little bit lighter, and not to foreshadow another future question, but we're going to bring this up again as well. So I'm going to stop right here and say, no, I wouldn't switch it. Keep them as they are because there are workarounds to how you want, or there are workarounds to getting bypass most of them. Maybe getting 5 ink cards in a year is not going to help you get approved over 524 with Chase. Maybe those same 5 ink cards are going to get you in pop-up jail with Amex because yes, they're going to be hard hits on your credit report. Who knows? But as of right now, don't switch them. They both suck. They both are a lose-lose situation.
Tariq.
When I first saw this question, I was like, the Chase fanboy in me was uber excited because I have no experience with pop-up jail. If I could just get the Chase cards that I want and not have to worry about being denied because I have opened up 5 personal cards on any issuer in 24 months, I'd be like, yeah. But just hearing how negative RJ and Lonnie's answers were kind of took the wind out of my sails, to be honest with you. And like that
sucks to go last sometimes, don't it?
Yes. I'm like, wow, this sucks worse than any jab Lonnie could give me, man. Dang.
But you're a Chase fanboy because you can get welcome bonuses and because you get points off of that largely. If
yes.
there was pop-up jail and you got this card that you didn't really want, but you wanted that sweet sign-up bonus, you would not be as much of a Chase fanboy. So you are better off, you, sir, are better off with 524 than you will ever be with pop-up jail, regardless of that sweet, sweet card that comes in the mail if you're not getting sweet, sweet points with it, regardless of what we said about using your cards. Tariq has enough cards. He doesn't he uses his cards. But like part of the reason you are such a fanboy is because you have been fed welcome bonuses. Like a calf that will be made into a lovely veal cutlet later, you have been fattened on the sweet, sweet milk of sign-up bonuses.
Dang.
Can we go back to Lonnie jabs?
Nope.
RJ's hurt.
Nope.
Damn.
Nope.
Nah.
I ain't got nothing to do with it.
Nah,
I ain't got
like,
nothing to do with it.
dang,
All I'm gonna do clap my hands slowly because that was a good one, RJ.
Damn. Like,
All it took RJ was one mic. Anyway, I'll finish the question here in saying this. American Express has cards that are worth getting if you're in pop-up jail. They'll give you the option to preclude the welcome offer, and as much as the welcome offer is like one of the biggest reasons to get a card, Amex has cards worth getting to forego the welcome offer. Besides the Chase Sapphire Reserve and maybe the United Club Infinite card, what Chase card is worth getting without getting the welcome offer on it?
Obviously, the Chase Sapphire preferred.
You mean the built card?
I was just doing it to watch Matt have a stroke.
Which doesn't have a welcome offer on it.
I mean,
Yeah.
realistically, I guess the only other card, but it's not even like the exciting card just to get, would just be the Freedom Flex, because if you actually use the card, I mean, if you use the card, like the 5%, you're gonna at least earn on it. And I mean, sure, you're gonna forego 20,000 points, but
yeah,
I mean, if you actually use the category.
Could you say the Explorer if you're somebody who uses mileage plus X? I know that was not a shot at you, Trig. I'm legitimately asking the question because of that 25% kicker.
Hell, I don't know. After what you did to me, I don't know what's an attack and what's a legitimate question anymore.
No, if I'm gonna attack you, I'll say it. Don't worry.
I mean, yeah, the Explorer card doesn't have an annual fee your first year anyway, so you're really just fighting for the welcome bonus at that point. I mean, yes, it comes with a lot of benefits, and that's actually a great card to come up with to speak towards in the following question that's coming up later. But I would say, depending on where you're at with United, if you're like you're brand spanking new ground zero with United, no, I wouldn't get the Explorer without the welcome bonus. But if you've already flown with them, you already have a small bank of miles with them, then yeah, I think it would be, because at that point you already have miles with them, you're already flowing with them, you already have a relationship with them. So now you're just adding on to the travel day benefits like the check bag and the priority boarding and the group 2 and the 25% off, all the discounts and everything. So I would say yes and no, but depending on where you're at with your relationship with United, RJ.
So we're at maybe the United Explorer card. Case dependent. There's no other Chase card.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily take the Freedom cards out because you only need to put $500 on there to get that 20,000 points. So for that low of a spend to get 20,000 points, and that's not even including like unlimited, you're getting your 1.5, or as Tariq just mentioned with the flex, you're getting your 5x on whatever category.
Yeah,
$500. I mean, we all have at least probably one $500 transaction a month. No matter what, if you go to the grocery store, if you're buying something, buying furniture or an appliance, you had a life situation happen, $500 is really, really, really easy to hit. Like school clothes for y'all that have children in that age bracket, that's $500 guaranteed right there.
Yep.
I mean, almost like 3 pair of shoes nowadays is $500.
Yep. No, and Yes, you could maybe the Freedom cards, but that's just because it's the $500. But like, you wouldn't get the Sapphire Preferred with no welcome offer. You wouldn't get an Ink card with no welcome offer. Depending on where you are with United, United is its own special case. But like the Southwest cards, you wouldn't get without a welcome offer. The Hyatt card, you wouldn't get without a welcome offer. The Marriott cards, you wouldn't get without a welcome offer, because to get the Ritz-Carlton card, you're going to get the Boundless or the Bountiful. You're going to get the welcome offer on that card. There's no way you bypass the welcome offer on that card unless you have a huge stash of Marriott points, or you are building up Marriott credit with on the Amex side of things, and that's its own special case. There really aren't any chase cards that are worth saying, no, I do not want any welcome. I do not want a welcome offer on this card. Amex, there are a number of cards that you could get without the welcome offer and still come out well ahead of their associated annual fees.
You just sparked something, and we can say this for a future topic later. So RJ, I know, is going to take a note, but what if we had the option to bypass the welcome offer for first year $0 annual fee? Because I know you just mentioned Marriott. So let's just say the Brilliant, the 650 one, the 650 annual fee one. Like, great. I'm not going to get the welcome offer. I'm just going to take the card. But because I'm not taking the welcome offer, I get $0 annual fee. And it's just like any card out there. I think that would be a great option in the application. Personally, for me, because might actually at times take the $0 annual fee over a welcome offer if it was a high-end card, something like a Marriott Brilliant.
Sign me up for the United Club Infinite with no annual fee.
But you only get it for the first year. Like that's the thing.
I don't care. I don't care. You give me 1 year, no annual fee, unlimited United Club Lounge access. Yeah, I'll be straight.
Right. You're right. It's only for 1 year, but after that 1 year, I still have another annual fee, and I'm not getting another welcome bonus. So I'm just supplementing the welcome bonus for the annual fee. I think that's depending on the card, you and your situation. I think that's a fair trade. Because United Unlimited United Club for a year for $0.
Look, my home airport has a United Club. I connect to Houston or I connect in O'Hare, wherever I connect with. United Club. On the way back, I might even hit the United Club on my arrival airport just because I can.
Tariq will be there on brunch on Sundays. He not even have a flight.
Like, do you have a ticket? No, but I got the card.
How you got past security without a ticket? That's going to be a whole other failure that needs to be addressed by TSA. Okay. Yeah, so moving 524 to Amex, probably way more easy to do than pop-up jail to chase. Again, I would still posit there is no chase card worth avoiding pop-up jail for. I would strain to make arguments for the Club Infinite and the Sapphire Reserve, and those are the only two cards that I would even consider. That's just me personally. So, yeah. Thanks, Double on that one. I think we all kind of have levels of agreement there. Our last question comes from James, who asks, what are the best $0 annual fee cards with unique travel perks? For example, the US Bank Altitude Connect gives you free GigSky data. This is a mobile NVMO or like a Boingo type wireless service that you can use that you can get for free through the Altitude Connect, although I'm not 100% sure if that particular benefit is still available on the Altitude Connect. I do have the page open, but I don't have the guide to benefits open at the moment. But Lonnie, are there any no annual fee cards with major travel benefits?
I won't say travel benefits ultimately, but there are cards that can get you to travel benefits. And I can't think, the travel benefit part at $0, I can't think of a single card right now off the top of my head, other than like an Explorer card that's $0 for the first year. But I'm not going to say that counts because it's only for their first 12 months. But if you were just going back to Chase and like Chase cards in general, but like the Freedoms, they're $0, and yet I can get 5x in Chase's travel portal, which could get you. It's from an earning and redeeming standpoint, which is a benefit there. Even United Gateway, it's also $0, but it earns you extra miles for that $0, which could help with your travel day. It doesn't actually do anything else with United. You're not getting a free trek bag. You're not getting like a discount or anything like that, priority boarding or anything like that. But you will be in the system as a United card holder. And I guarantee you that puts you at least group 3 without having to try. So those types of things, yes. But other than that, I got a very short answer. I can't think of anything else.
Thanks very much, Lonnie. Tariq.
Yeah, the $0 annual fee travel card space is kind of a limited one. I found one that's actually like not too bad. Be the IHG One Rewards Traveler card. And the one thing that kind of stands out for me on that one is that you get the 4th night free benefit, which I thought was exclusively a IHG Platinum perk. But apparently, if you hold this card, which only gets you automatic Silver Elite status, you can still get 4th night free with that card. So if you travel if you stay at IHG hotels, whether it be Kimpton, Intercontinental, or even just the Holiday Inn or Holiday Inn Express, want to stay 4 nights, only have to pay for 3 as long as you have that no annual fee traveler card. So it's a good option.
All right. And RJ?
Like Lonnie, I had a hard time with this one because there are not that many great ones out there. The Delta Sky Miles Blue Card, which nobody really should have, will get you 20% back on in-flight purchases. So if you want to sit in main cabin and buy yourself a adult beverage and want to get 20% back on it, there you go. But yeah, there's not a whole lot at the $0 annual fee for travel. There used to be much better ones, and I think as travel cards have gotten more premium and more is expected of them because they have an annual fee, the $0 ones are a lot of like the Hilton card where you just get pretty good earnings back on Hilton points, but not necessarily any major perks.
Yeah, on that one, the Hilton Honors card, its biggest benefit is if you spend $20,000 in a year, you get upgraded from Hilton Silver to Hilton Gold for the next status year. You got to put $20,000 to spend through that card, though. I mean, it's a good card. I like the card a lot. I like the benefits that you get for no annual fee on it, but that's a lot of spend to dedicate to just get Hilton Gold that you can get with 3 other credit cards. The Altitude Connect, the GigSky, I think it used to be unlimited and that got changed in August of last year. I'm still not seeing it on the US Bank website or their guide to benefits. Oh no, sorry. There it is. Global connectivity. Contract terms is redeemable through November 11th of 2025. Okay, cool. So the GigSky thing is still available on the card. That's an interesting perk. More interesting though, on that no annual fee card, you get 4 lounge passes with the Altitude Connect. You still get TSA PreCheck and global entry paid for with the Altitude Connect. So those are cool things. I think the built card, the Wells Fargo autograph, and the Venture One from Capital One, all letting you access transfer partners, is fantastic for no annual fee. Those are the only cards I know of that can do that at no annual fee. But the Venture One doesn't do much else for you beyond that. The autograph only has secondary car rental insurance. The built card has primary CDW and cell phone protection. That's cool. But cell phone protection isn't a travel perk, really. Yeah, beyond that, there aren't a whole lot of other cards that have like super unique features like that. Aside from like standard trip delays, trip trip interruption, trip cancellation protections, but those on a no annual fee card are far more limited compared to what you can get with the Sapphire Reserve, the Sapphire Preferred, City Strata Premier, Wells Fargo Autograph Journey, the American Express cards. You're going to come out much further ahead with the annual fee cards than you will with the no annual fee cards. Now, it's good that the no annual fee cards still give you something and it doesn't cost you anything, but just make sure that your expectations are limited. So GigSky is a cool thing, but it looks like it's ending this year in November unless they extend the promotion again. There aren't a whole lot of other cards I can think of that are no annual fee that give you things like TSA PreCheck, airport lounges, in any meaningful way beyond like the 4 passes from the Altitude Connect, and who knows how much longer those are going to be available. So yeah, I can't think of any other cards like my co-hosts. The only other things I can think of in terms of travel or enabling travel is transfer partners. And there are a few cards that do that. So, if that's something that you want, keep those in mind. Otherwise, the build card gives you primary CDW when you're traveling, and that's about it that I can think of. So, yeah. All right. Any other thoughts on this one? Arj's no, Tariq's no. I'm going to go with Lonnie's no. All right, there we go. So that'll do it for questions. If you want to submit questions, you can always ask a question on any of our question videos on YouTube, or really any of our videos on YouTube. But the questions are probably going to be the easiest ones, just for RJ's sanity when she's EPing the show, or my sanity if I'm EPing the show for whatever reason. Leave us a question in the YouTube comments. You can also join the Stack Your Points Discord. Check out the description for our link for that. There's the podcast questions section of the Discord. We welcome any and all questions. We'll answer them as quickly as we can. There is also the email option, stackyourpoints@gmail.com, like Mr. Troy did earlier earlier this month. Again, we promise we will answer your question as soon as we can. That's going to do it for questions. Thank you so much for your time. We appreciate your attention for questions, and we will talk to you soon. All right. Well, if that'll do it for this episode of Stack Your Points. If you like what we do, hit the like and subscribe button here on YouTube. We are pushing to 300 subscribers. Hopefully we'll get to 500 subscribers by mid-year. Please help us get on the please help us along on that journey. If you want to leave a question, use any of our videos for questions, but I ask ideally and politely to utilize the Friday videos for Q&A for questioners. Please keep RJ sane. Please keep me sane. Like, subscribe, hit the 5 stars on the podcatcher of your choice on the Saturday show, and join the Stack Your Points Discord if you're so inclined. Link is always in the description. We have a growing community over there. Lots of great people, lots of great conversation on credit cards and non-credit card things as well. Lonnie, if folks wanted to find you on the internet, where's the best place to find you?
You can find me right here on YouTube under Call Me Lonnie, all one word, and Lonnie is spelled L-A-N-I. So come by, hit subscribe, and I might as well just say, come be a channel member, because we've said it enough tonight. But I will also add, I might as well tell you the perks. You get early access to all my videos. I do a members only video, almost particularly on pretty much a minimum of once a week. And within there, you get all the behind the scenes stuff. So the stuff that I don't want nerfed, that's where I tell it. So you'll never see it in one of my videos. If you want to really get into like some of the strategies and hacks that I do, come be a channel member.
Definitely. RJ, best place to find you around the internet.
Honestly, just go to the Stack Your Points Discord. My life is a mess right now. You're not getting any videos from me except for when I'm here.
Completely fair. And yep, nope. I will leave it there. Tariq, best places to find you.
Stack Your Points Discord and Reeks Rewards. Don't bug me. I understand. It'll get posted.
Absolutely. And you can find me on the Matt Clausen YouTube channel. I post pretty regularly, and I also have a members only side. It's not nearly as organized or well thought out as Lonnie's, but full interviews, when I do interviews, will be posted there unedited in all their glory, and the occasional quiet Q&A from members. So check it out if you're so inclined. But this is Stack Your Points. We look forward to seeing you next week. Thanks for your time. Talk to you soon.